everybody, I'm Carla with Raised to Walk, and this is another episode in Hack the Saga. So, hold on just a second. Let me change this. Okay. So what is this? Actually, moment. Just a minute. I think did that go better? Sorry, I was cleaning off my screen because I looked fuzzy. Okay, so I'm Carla with Legacy Marketing and Raised to Walk. I'm with both of them, but this channel is Hack the Saga. This originally started on my Raised to Walk TV channel, where I originally shared good thoughts about good words, and they were so good that the words were all stolen. Turns out, long story short, that the people who stole them were people that I knew. People that I knew from the apologetics program at I went through it at Houston Baptist University when it still had a good brand. And then they changed the name to Houston Christian University. Don't ask me why. Anyway, got awful colors too that they changed it to. But know the people from that and from an unexpected journal. And if you followed my channel at all, I promoted the people on the journal quite a bit, spent a lot of time and invested in it. And while I was doing that, they were sabotaging me. Not only my Raised to Walk channel, website platforms, but also my business, Legacy Marketing Services, and that's a little bit about what we're talking about today. But a couple weeks ago, I did a live stream on a final notice to an unexpected journal. And that was the first one I think that I did that was only streamed to this Hack the Saga channel. This is a new one. All the previous ones, if you want to go to raisedtowalk.org, Hack the Saga, you can see all my updates. But all the other live streams I did were streamed to my main Raised to Walk channel, which had been hijacked into a multi-channel network that I really didn't have control over. And they were stealing watch time, subscribers, all of that. And also had, I don't even know exactly what they were doing, but they had control over what was going into the live stream as well. So I think a lot of the problems I've had with my live streams have just been straight up sabotage. Didn't have anything to do with the service that I was using to stream through, like Restream or StreamYard. It was the saboteurs. If you go to the first videos, the first live streams on my Hack this Saga channel, what you will see an example of that, because the first ones there, the camera was blacked out. Then the next one, which was a short one, I had it set to portrait, and they made it super. They switched it to horizontal and zoomed in, so you can only see part of my face. The next one, they flipped it upside down the whole time, and then the one after that, they flipped. They had been interfering with quite a bit of the streams until I stopped streaming to that Raised to Walk TV. So that's why I'm just streaming to the Hack the Saga channel right now. But anyway, a couple weeks ago, I streamed, and let me see which one it is. I streamed to, I'm not seeing it, so I'll just add it. Okay. I streamed to hold on, screen. Hold on, select. Okay. So, can you see this now? Yeah, you can see it now. Hopefully you can. Hopefully it's going through. I did sent a message to, sent this email to the people within Unexpected Journal. Okay. And this is, I'm not going to read the whole thing again because I did that last time. But I sent this letter, and what this letter is basically a demand letter to remove all my content from the journal website as well as from the issues, because they were sabotaging it. they were changing things on it. This was one of the first things I noticed when I started realizing sabotage to both my platforms and the journal back 2 years ago. And so anyway, I had broken all contact with an association with the people from the journal in August of 2024. They tried to fake my association as late as November of 2025. And anyway, so I thought, you're not being good stewards of the intellectual property. And so I sent this letter by email to them. And this was on April 12th. So this has been over a month. And in that letter, so you have 30 days to respond with a list of all of the locations where you have used my work, plagiarized my work. This is who I sent it to. I sent it to the main Unexpected Journal Gmail address. I sent it to Jason Smith, he had been president of the board, and then he took it, kind of went into a position where he had an agreement that he would be doing what I had been doing since 2018 and putting together the issues as far as the manuscripts and the covers and putting them on the distribution platforms. Send it to him, send it to Jasmine Biggs. And this is the thing. These are the people who were on the board and in charge when I stepped down in August of 2024. They don't have any of the information on the website. And then we're going to get to a little bit more about what some of the issue is. I sent it to Annie Nardoni, who was the president of the board, Zachary Schmal, who at the time when I resigned, he had been the former managing editor, the original managing editor of the journal, but he was the issue editor for the community issue that was in process when I resigned. I sent it to Grant Broadhurst, who was the web manager, Abby Brockman, who was the treasurer, and then Jason Monroe, Josiah Peterson, and Seth Myers, who were on the board. Send an email to all of them. I did not receive a single response or acknowledgement of my email. The next day, I could tell that there was a response, though. I could tell by some of the activity of hits to my site, raisedtowalk.org. And it looked to me like when I went to the journal site that they were trying to initiate some sort of conditional cloaking where information would only be shown depending on whose IP address. So if, let's say I went to look at it, it would look like my essays were gone. But if somebody else went to look at it, it would be there. That's what it looked like. So I sent a DMCA letter or claim to their host, SiteGround, the next day, along with the letter that I had sent to them, and they responded the same day. And by Thursday, 2 days later, the essays have been removed. So then after this is part of what I covered in my last live stream. Rather than just doing what I asked, it looked to me like some of the PDFs at least got put back up on the site, and then they had a whole string of let me see, which one is it? They were feeding a whole string of new plagiarized stuff that they had just spun. And this is an example of things that they had plagiarized off one of my essays and just used AI to push it to a whole bunch of Scribd documents. So basically, it's more sabotage of my work, right? Plagiarism and sabotage. So this is the response. And this is where it was at 2 weeks ago, right? So you can go and watch that if you want to. But anyway, so I had mentioned in my last live stream that I sent a registered letter, a certified letter to the journal with a copy of this so there could be no excuse for not responding. This is a tracking number, and this is what I sent. So let's see all the tracking history. I sent it originally on April 23rd, right? So I emailed the letter to them on April 12th, and I gave them 30 days to respond. Didn't receive a response. The only response I got was more attacks and sabotage. And so I sent a certified letter to them, to the registered agent that I had for their information, right? Because the journal is a registered nonprofit with the state of Texas, and they have a registered agent. It's been in Austin. And that's the last contact address I have as of, well, it was still that in 2024 when I stepped down. So then when I finally get a notification, it takes, over a week to get there. It says your item was returned to the sender on May 1st, which I haven't gotten this back yet, in Austin, Texas, because the addressee was not known at the delivery address noted on the package. So I don't know. I mean, maybe they've changed your registered agent. I've literally been dealing with, hacking attempts on, attacks on my email accounts, all of this. So I haven't gone back to dig up. Either they changed your registered agent or it's no longer in operation. And I don't know which one that is. And I haven't gone back to see which one that is. So anyway, this is just what I have to say. When I said I'm not joking around, I literally am not joking around. And they seem to think that they can still play these stupid games, not responding, trying to fake things, to fake information, to fake responses, because in the last live stream that I did, they had tried to, this is the thing, they have some sort of connection with this laptop that I have where a lot of the things that I saw, it looked to me like, I think it was Jason Smith that was hacking my laptop and uploading things to my Google Drive through my Google account, so it looked like I had uploaded it. Like they uploaded an Afghan family's information to my Google Drive, and I know it was Jason Smith because then he shared it with, I have a screenshot of this, he shared it with Jim Swayze and Grant Broadhurst. I never uploaded any of their information to Google Drive, ever. Even back when I first started and did not know how, what a joke Google so-called security is, I knew enough not to put it on Google Drive, ever. Did not do that. So anyway, looks to me like they're still doing that. And I had shared last time that they had somehow, when I was sending an email, they had, at the same time I was sending the email, so my laptop's open, right? They have some sort of access that they're hacking it through. And they somehow were sending an email. They were trying to send it out through that AUJ@mail@thealvarezes.com. That's what I told them to respond to. So it seems to me like, but it didn't go because that email address is actually an alias and you have to send it a certain way for it to work, which is why it failed. And so it looked to me like they were trying to fake responses or something. I don't know, fake communication. I don't know, maybe they're trying to fake, I said something that, yeah, they can go ahead and we have an agreement and you can still steal my stuff. No, but there's no agreement. There's been no contact. But they're still doing it because just today, before I get ready to go on this live stream, I go into Proton looking at an email and, oh wait, this is another thing we're going to look at. Is it this one? Oh yeah. Okay. So this is just last night. Just last night. I didn't see it until today, but just last night, I get this notification, an attempt to send an email from your alias, auj@mail.thealvarezes.com using, is blocked because I have it set so that it can only send through another email address. And this, I know, because this is the thing. It seems to me like to get that sort of control, they may have to have some sort of relay to hack so that they have a device that, I don't know exactly how this was, but I know who was sitting next to me at this time when this email was sent. So I know that that's what happened. There was somebody next to me that had a phone that was some sort of relay for them to go and try to manipulate this email. Y'all are a bunch of idiots. There's just no other word for it. What do you think you're going to try to fake? Okay? What do you think you're going to try to fake with this? Do you think you're going to get me to shut up about the fact that you stole my work, hacked my accounts, and were impersonating me? And they're still trying to impersonate me. This is just the most asinine thing I have ever seen in my entire life. And then the craziest thing, these people literally spent tens of thousands of dollars, and what is the end result? They're a bunch of criminals, okay? A bunch of criminals. So I just want to say this and make it very clear, okay? You all have literally decided your fate, right? You had a chance when I started to realize that just the fraud, I didn't even know at the time that it was my friends behind these so-called friends, quote unquote friends, behind these fake accounts that were spewing all this stuff on social media. Okay, I did not know it was them. I started calling these accounts out because of the things that they were saying. And because I did that, they had been lying about my involvement with them and whatever crap they were doing. And when I did that, it made it obvious that they were lying. And so they started attacking me. I mean, okay, here's the thing. I don't know what you thought was going to happen. I don't know what you thought was going to happen. But at that point, that is the moment when you should have thought, okay, you know what? You should have blamed it on somebody like Annie Crawford and say, well, it was her. We thought that she was in on it or something. What you should have done is pick the person that you were going to dump. Okay, I'm just saying, if you're not going to own your own stuff, which is what you should have done, but if you weren't going to do that, you should have just put the blame on somebody who was most primarily on and cut loose of it. Instead, you double down and you're a bunch of idiots. I don't even know, but here's the thing. I don't even have words to say to you. Okay. Even if you are completely ignorant about business, you should know that hacking is a crime, right? Middle schoolers, at least public school middle schoolers, know that copying work from other people is not okay. Okay, that is plagiarism. You should know that. These are all homeschoolers, people who have been homeschooled or homeschooling other people, or their own kids or other people's kids. Can you believe this? So maybe they're not aware of this. But these basic things, I don't even have words for the level of lunacy that this is. I don't even have words. I am sorry you're an idiot, okay? I am really sorry you're an idiot, but that's not on me. And you have literally been attacking me for 2.5 years, and if you think that this is all just going to go poof because your stupidity has dug a deeper hole for you, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. This is just where you're at. I don't know what to tell you. Go talk to a pastor. Go talk to an attorney that's not corrupt. I don't know what to tell you. So anyway, so they're still trying to fake, I don't know what, just being stupid criminals. That's just what they are. And because this is the thing, when you commit crimes, and hacking is a crime, all right, it's a crime. So when you do that, you're a criminal. That's how it works. And then this is the other thing. So my business, Legacy Marketing Services, is I'm just going to do a little recap. When I first started Legacy Marketing Services back in 2003, it was just a DBA that I filed with Harris County. I converted it to an LLC in 2021. It's filed with the state of Texas. Okay, so every year you have to file a franchise report with the state. This is what I was doing today, just before I came on. Okay, so what is this one? I log in. Okay, that's something else. Let's go to here. What's this next one? Okay. So it looks to me like they've had a little bit of an update to the Texas site. So I log in, and what do you see here? This is that 832 number that I haven't had since December 2024. The last time I filed this a year ago, this was not on here. I had my business number on there, okay? So this is one evidence that my account with the state of Texas, the Comptroller's account with the state of Texas, has been hacked and altered. They put this email or this phone number that I don't have on it. Okay, and I'm going to show this address. I don't have this address anymore anyway. So then it goes, I go to, there's two different screens, right? So I go to, I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe I do a officer of just a public information update. And look at this. It's showing two people on this LLC. So they're going in, and here's the thing. This wasn't new this year. I just went back and looked at my past reports. This was like this last year, and I didn't catch it. I don't know how I didn't catch it, but there was, you know, all kinds of craziness going on nonstop. So maybe I just didn't look or something. I shouldn't have to update the owner information. Maybe it was a different interface. I don't know. But this was on last year's report. It was filed. So last year I filed for 2024. It was filed. It was changed during the year 2024, because the year before that it wasn't like this. I just had one person. So I don't know if you can see this, but it says looks like there's two people that are on this, and I don't know what the purpose of this is, but it says here, it says I'm a director, and then it says I'm a director, and then there's a second listing saying that I'm an owner, but that I'm not a director. I don't know what that means or what the point of that was, but it looks like me as an owner doesn't have control, right? If you just look at that anyway. So that was the other thing I found, and I deleted it. And then what was this one? Okay, so then I go to file. I get through, I thought, okay, forget all this. I don't even know what this is. There's also owned entities and all this. I thought, I'm just going to do the compute the sales tax one. And so I start going through it, and then guess what I see? This is on my laptop. It says, this report has already been processed. Please log out. It hadn't already been processed because I was just submitting it. So I logged out, and I went in on my iPad, and I had to file it. So this is literally interference as of today, just within the last 30 minutes of hacking of my accounts and interference trying to prevent me from filing this report. Okay, so that's today. The other thing, just in the past week, and this thing, I know that you have these professional Christians that are actually criminal. They're all criminals. They're all criminals. But the professional Christians that I know from the apologetics circle, and then you have the family, because I know that they're working together this. So this just happened in the last week, because the phone number on my account, my bank account for my little publishing LLC that I have, this was changed to another phone number. It was changed to, can you see it? I think it's 971-446-8619. I don't know if you can see that. It's too small for me to read it. Anyway, I reported it. But this was changed, and it was changed on it was changed on Tuesday, because I think when one point when they were in this frenzy to get control over my accounts again, somehow they got my iPad cloned or something. And because all these unauthorized sessions that I see, almost all of them say March 23rd. That was the day that it happened. So I'm logging into my bank account. This is on my iPad. And this is on Tuesday. And that a little bit after I logged in, I got a text message saying that there had been a login from Utah. Okay. There's cousins in Utah. These cousins that have same cousins that have like fabricated and altered some family records. Anyway, So last Tuesday, a week ago Tuesday, I was getting text messages, right? My phone number was on there because I was getting a text message notification. So it was changed since then. And I have 2 logins and I changed it on both of them. So anyway, that's just what's been going on. So as far as has anything changed? No, the criminals are still trying to, control my accounts. What they were doing, I can tell that there was an overlay. We talked about this before, is that they can fake an interface. It's an overlay over your account. And this is not, depending on your device, it's not a step session or something. This is at an infrastructure level. And what that was doing is it was okay. Here's what I think. I'm not sure. Let's see here. Let me go. Okay. So here's the deal. Obviously, this was something that they wanted me not to be saying. They had an overlay on the bank account. So what was going on is what I was seeing was not what was actually there. Okay. And because of that, I couldn't change the phone number on the browser on my laptop because the overlay wasn't actually connected there and it wouldn't send the text message. I had to log in on my iPad to be able to change the phone number. It was also, as I was logging in, it would like hang, and the money available was showing a different number than what I was seeing when it finally loaded. It showed like a -43, -53, -27. Every time I logged in, it showed a different number. And what they were doing is they were blocking my ability to actually use that account for a bill payment. So anyway, all that to say, no, the losers have not stopped. They've just continued, and I don't understand loser. I just don't. This like, okay, we're just going to continue going on and on. I really don't understand it. But for the people involved with an Unexpected Journal and who are in these little Christian content agencies run by people who were formerly, with the apologetics program, there are certain people that I've named in reports. You've had an opportunity to, there's not even been any acknowledgement. But here's the thing. All you that are working in that group, especially with Jasmine and Jason, they were operating out of my Google Drive. And I have the names and emails of about 20 people that are that were involved in it. So I'm just assuming, you're all going in the same bucket. Okay, that's just what I'm saying. I've received no acknowledgement, no response, no nothing. So at this point, all I've gotten is continued hacks, continued attempted impersonation, and continued unauthorized access, and continued sabotage. So at this point, all y'all are considered to be in the same bucket as the people that are doing it. You're all part of the same thing. So I'm just saying, I've given you plenty of heads up. nobody's actually, you know, put on their big girl panties and owned up to anything. So this is just where it's at. Okay, so I just consider you all part of the same crime ring. Anyway, that's an update for today. Talk to y'all later.